I have a number of examples that I'm going to show you on the zip chart, and I'm going to be as much as possible exclusively dealing with zip Cyan. And an interesting fact about zip Cyan is when it is the lowest line on the chart, in the zip chart, prices go up. And when it is the highest line on the chart, prices go down. And the aspects of zip Cyan are sometimes amazing. There's very few times that we've found that it will not do exactly what I just described. You can call it a method, you could call it a setup. It's definitely a way that you can consistently be profitable in your trading just by following this rule. I have one exception that I've found, and I'll show you that as we go into the charts. I've opened up here the chart on Apple, and I have some red line indicators, some vertical red lines that would indicate different spots that I'm going to talk about zip Cyan. The first one here is we're in July on the 10th of 2015, and at the bottom here of the zip chart, I just have the zip chart and the power chart displayed here with the candles up above. On the bottom here of the zip chart on this day, we have zip at 27.56 and the zip green at 30. And so this is the first day that the zip Cyan is lowest, and it makes a crescent move, a upward curving move to the right. And obviously each day the price just goes up. You had one little hiccup here with the red candle 2 days after this vertical red candle. But if I move this red candle over to here, we obviously have a zip Cyan lowest line, which tells us that the price is going to go up tomorrow. When we get to the end of this day here, we find that the zip Cyan has disappeared. It is no longer the lowest line, and so that would be a call to exit the position, because more than likely next day it is going to drop, which obviously it does. Okay, now I'm going to go over to this one right over here, this second red line, and I'll pull the other one over. This because we do have an up-down movement here, but I'll show you some aspects of that as in this example. The first day that we have here would be the left vertical line. We're in a red candle, and the zip Cyan is the highest line on the chart. We obviously don't count the zero line. And that, when it's the highest, it means the price is going down. So it goes down, and it goes down 2 days, and now we're down here at the bottom. And there's if you go over here to I'm not going to go over there right now, but if you go over to the daily chart and you look at all 4 of these charts, every single line is down on this right vertical line here. That 2 days, we've been in the trade now theoretically for 2 days, and here we are, and we're making a decision. Is it going to go down again tomorrow? And there is nothing that would say it's going to go up tomorrow. except that hidden down here at the bottom, the zip green is at 0. And very often the zip green hits 0 and bounces right back up. But even if you did stay in the trade, at this particular point it closes at 124.53 and it opens at 125.57, but it goes down to 124.86. So even if you stayed into it, the pain wouldn't be too bad, because the low actually comes down fairly close to the previous close. But when you got zip green at 0 and everything else is down low like this, when all of your pink, your blue, your yellow, your white, your gray, your red is all down here under 10 or whatever it is, I don't even know what well, everything is under 5. The red is at 5.91 and that's the highest. So that's a classic reversal because all the lines are way down there low. But in any case, you would definitely, even if you hung on to it the next day, you would, whatever you'd have there is, you have a situation where the zip Cyan is no longer the highest, and that would be your exit point. Okay, now I'll go on to the next one, just to kind of explain this one. Here we have, in this particular case, I'm going to move this red line over to the top of the where the zip Cyan is not the highest, but we move it over one more day, and then the zip Cyan becomes the highest. And so it's at that day we would say, okay, we will we'll get into the market. You got two choices. You could get into the market immediately. You spot this an hour before closing or whatever, or you could get into it after your overnight search. You could get into it in the morning. It gaps down a little bit, it goes up a little bit, and then it goes down the next day and continues down the day after that. So now we're, in theory, if you're in that trade, you're down here at the bottom. Again, you've got a zip green that's at 0, which is indicative of you're at the bottom. But this one has much better evidence, and that is that your zip red and your zip gray are both in low angle up positions, which is an obvious glaring turnaround. Zip red is by far, zip red and swing pink are your two fastest moving lines on all 4 charts. The zip indicators, as a general rule, are much faster than any of your other chart or any of your other indicators. Hence, why they're on that chart. But it's obvious there that this would be the point that you would terminate your short position, because your zip red and your zip gray are both in a low angle up at the bottom. Going on to this next one, or before I do that, I just want to comment here. I'm going to expand this a little bit with this pink arrow. Here's the zip green, and it's got a flat top onto it, a couple, 3-4 days, and the pink finally comes up and it's right under the green. And so often when that happens, before it drops down, the pink will be directly under the green somewhere. It doesn't happen that way all the time, but there is a lot of evidence that shows that the zip pink is directly under the zip green when it makes its drop. So I just wanted to point that out. On this red line, I'm going to move this one over to here. On this left red line, actually over here on this day, the zip Cyan is at 74 and the zip green is at 75. So you know it's not the highest. So we move over one day and now the zip Cyan is just above the zip green. And so when it's highest, then the price goes down. The next day, as we move over to the next day, it was a doji candle. The price hardly moved that day. The following day, it gaps down and goes down pretty good, and so we're down into that mode right there, or position right there. And obviously, on this left vertical red line, we have another red low angle down that tells us that this is the bottom. And we also have pink lowest. And when you've heard me talk about it before, when the zip pink is lowest, it has a great desire to push back up. And there's obviously a few exceptions to that. They'll do one more day and a low angle down, but then that low angle down is definitely the sign, because there's usually a lot of other low angle downs to drive it up. There are some, I started out one video with a pink that went down lowest, and it was down like, I don't know, 5 days or something, and that one is definitely an exception. I hardly ever see that. But in any case, there's another example of how zip Cyan is the highest. It goes down, and you can read the indicators that will tell you that that's the bottom. The other one over here, this here is on the right red vertical line now where my cursor is. That's the first day of the zip Cyan going up, and you can see it went up those 4 days right up to the top. And now the next one I'm going to run over here to is this green one, and this is the zip Cyan on this green vertical line right there. It's the first day that it is highest, meaning that the price is going to go down. But when you look at this, you can see that you do have a decent sized red candle. It's the second day in a downturn. But the interesting fact is that all of your indicators are in a downward move. You got zip red at the lowest right now, and you actually have, on your power chart, you actually have the power Cyan in a low angle. If I expand this a little bit, it's more obvious. You have a low angle down, which is indicative of it going up. And so if you were making a decision that you wanted to get into the market at the end of this day with the green vertical line or wait, to me it's quite obvious you want to wait. And in fact, I'm a day trader in my heart, and I just prefer to start out fresh on a new day and trade that day with whatever I find. So assuming you did that, you go over to this next day, you're now on a doji. It would be just depend on, we would have tried to buy that thing high because the indications are from the zip Cyan that you're going down. So then you go down that day, you're still in a zip Cyan high. You go down that day, you're in a zip Cyan high. And on that day right there, you do have the zip red in a low angle down. So there isn't much else that's giving you any indication. In fact, your power orange and power green are in a down trend position, saying that it's probably going to continue down. And so then you stay in the position and you go to the next day, you open up on this green candle, and it's got a really, so what happens? It gaps down, because you were thinking, hey, it's going down. Okay, well, it gaps down, but then let's look at it here. It opens up at 122.76. Its low is 122.60. So it drops 16 cents and turns around and comes back up. Now this is a $120-some stock. It drops 16 cents and goes back up. So as soon as you see that drop, turn around and go back up, you'd obviously want to get out. Even though your zip, your zip Cyan is telling you we haven't seen a turnaround there, but that's a way to get out. If you stayed in, then you're going to be moving on to the next day, and you'd go right back down, probably to about the spot. And it's at this point that the zip Cyan disappears. So that's the end of the zip Cyan short position that you would. That's the day you'd get out if you're just looking at the zip Cyan candles. In fact, in the power chart, you now have actually they're top of cycle lowers, and when you see a top of cycle lower at the bottom, there's some inordinate amount of pressure that basically is reverse pressure. Same thing at the top. If you have a bottom of the cycle higher on a peak, so many times it just has built up pressure in it that they pushed it too high, and now it's going to go back down the next day. So it's real easy to see how to make these decisions about what's going to happen the next day with a variety of methods and techniques within this system. If you're in doubt about what's going to happen or where you think what you're seeing, exit the position. There's a lot of other positions or a lot of other situations that you can clearly see what's going to happen. So don't be afraid to get out. And whatever you do, I mean, as a day trader, if you bought it long and it starts dropping, you get out. You don't hang on and, well, it's going to come back. If you made the wrong decision and you're losing money, well, you made the wrong decision. And the second wrong decision you would make is to stay in the trade. So if you're going negative, get out. I think that's the last video that I want to, or last comments that I want to make on Cyan. But otherwise, trade reasonably.